Hi everyone, today I'm going to be covering some of my favorite apps to use on Mac. So I'm going to be categorizing this I think in two sections. So one is going to be my favorite productivity apps that I use mostly on Mac, and then the other part is going to be some of my favorite content creation apps if you're interested in that. So yeah, I'm going to be covering all of that. I'm not going to show you all the apps on my Mac. I have a whole video on what is on my Mac. I'm just going to be covering my favorite apps and kind of how I use them. So let's start off with all my favorite productivity apps first, and then we can move on to content creation. So this is my home screen setup right now. My wallpaper probably changes like every week, but right now I just have this graphic that says here comes the sun, keep shining. I just love the retro look of the typography as well as just the little illustration. But then here at the bottom I have my dock hidden, but at the bottom here I have all my things that are in my dock and all the apps. The first app I'm going to be going into is Apple Calendar. For my calendar here, I have made like a setup for a week that repeats every single week. Now obviously every week doesn't look exactly the same, but this just gives me a rough outline of kind of what I want a day to look like and kind of how I want to manage my day. Again, I don't stick to this all the time. It just gives me a nice overlook of what I would potentially like to get done on which day. I love Apple Calendar because it syncs across all my devices. Yeah, I absolutely love the look of this Apple Calendar. Next, I want to talk about a mailing app that I use, which is Spark. I can't really show you everything because it has some sensitive information, but this app is just really amazing. I love the look of it. I love how it organizes your different types of mail, so notifications, newsletters, and then just like more important emails. And then you can obviously have more than one type of email on here. This is just one of the best mailing apps that I've tried out, and it has a designated app for Mac. So I just have been really enjoying using Spark. So if you're looking for a good free email app, I recommend trying this out as well. Yeah, highly recommend it. Then we have one of the apps that I always talk about on my videos, so I'm gonna briefly go into it, which is Notion. So this is my mainly used productivity app. I feel like on my computer, it's just where I prefer to do all my planning. So I have here to-do lists and things like that. I have personal tracking things or just books tracking, things like that, meal planning. Then I do all my content planning on here as well for videos for YouTube, and then I just have some other personal things. So this is my main means of productivity tracking and just getting things done, goal tracking, all that. I recommend like trying out to get like a template when you're starting out, just to get started, because it's really hard to grasp exactly how Notion works because it is such a big app and can do so much. So I would recommend maybe doing some research, finding some templates that work for you when you're trying out Notion for the first time. But this is definitely my biggest means of productivity. I definitely recommend Notion. I do have an alternative app on my Mac, which I also want to share with you guys because it is also really nice and I have used it in the past, which is called XStyles. It's this app right here. So if I go into it, it's kind of like Notion, but way simpler. I do have a whole video on XStyles that you can see my setup and how I would use it. So if you want to check that out, I'll have a link in the description box below. But this is what it looks like. So if you create a page, this is an example of what that could look like. So this is my page for content planning, and you can also have more than one page within a big page. So this is short form content planning. Then this was my example for like a weekly to-do list. You can add nice graphics and images to make it more your style. This is my to-do section. You can add some tables in here. And again, this is way simpler, I feel like, than Notion. So if this is something that sounds intriguing to you, I highly recommend trying out XStyles as well as a productivity app. It's really nice. They have some cool templates on here as well that you can use. In the video that I posted about this, I also have links to these templates if you want to use them for yourself as well. So definitely try out XStyles if that sounds intriguing to you. And then we come to one of my recent obsessions and favorite apps, which is Arc. So this is a web browser that has not been fully released yet. It's kind of still in development, but you can sign up on a wait list and then you get access to the browser. They will email you when you get access, but mine came within like a day. Again, I have a whole video on Arc browser going in more detail on how it works, but this is what it looks like. I have 3 sections here set up for my Arc browser. So the first one here is one that I made an icon with a laptop for. That is the work section, and here I just have all my pin tabs for the work section. Then I have personal, and the only pin tab I have here is Pinterest, and then I have entertainment, and here I have Netflix and Disney Plus. Again, this is such a nice web browser. I feel like it's very aesthetic as well, which I really love. That's always something that I look for in apps as well. And it's just so nice to use. They have such an incredible UI, and other features which I haven't even gone into. You can literally customize any web page to your liking, which is awesome. So here you can see the different things that people have created that you can apply to yours. You can change the colors of websites and things like that. It's just so fun, so I highly recommend it. Link in description box below if you want to try it out for yourself. I always used to be a Safari user and sometimes use Chrome, but this kind of combined the two for me in a way, in a single app that I really love. So that is the web browser that I use all the time. So that is all for my main productivity apps. I just quickly want to go over some of my favorite content creation apps. So some of these are very self-explanatory that I've probably seen all over the place, but there may be 1 or 2 that maybe you don't really know about that I'd be happy to introduce you to. So the first I want to cover is the Final Cut Pro. This is what I edit all my videos on. I have a bunch of videos on Final Cut Pro. If you want to check that out, I'll have that linked in the eye top. But also what I want to mention is the plugins that I use for Final Cut Pro, which is from Motion VFX. I have an app here which is called Installer, where I can view all the plugins that I have on my Final Cut Pro, and I highly recommend all these. I have, like I said, videos going into depth more about these plugins. I will have those linked, but definitely Installer, Motion VFX. I highly recommend it if you are a creator looking to invest in some cool plugins for Final Cut Pro or Premiere Pro. Highly recommend that. But yeah, Final Cut Pro is definitely my main place where I make videos. I make my TikTok shorts, things like that. Then I have the entire Adobe Suite. So the main apps that I use in there is Photoshop and Illustrator, sometimes InDesign, sometimes Lightroom, but those are the main apps. And Adobe Illustrator I have been in love with. I've been going a lot more into brand designing and things like that, making logos, things, and I've just been loving learning about Illustrator. So I highly recommend all these apps if you are interested. So the Adobe Suite is amazing. Quite expensive, but amazing. Then we have Canva here, which I just quickly wanted to mention because if you are anyone who does anything, you can do something with Canva. If you're running a business, if you are making YouTube videos, Canva has an endless amount of templates and just things to help you create digital things on Canva. So here you can see all these templates that you can literally just use and fill in. They have some amazing fonts. They have a pro version as well. I'm pretty sure most people know what Canva is, but if you didn't, this is what it is. So Canva I highly recommend for any creatives or just anyone who wants to make anything like this. Like you can see here, you have some presentations and things as well. Also, I just want to mention, because this isn't an app, and I know not a lot of people know about it, which is Adobe Express. Adobe Express is basically Adobe's version of Canva. I don't know, I think it has a free option and a premium option, and if you have the Adobe Express package, you just automatically get the pro option for Adobe Express. But again, same as Canva, it has a bunch of different templates and things. It really is so nice. And I really love the look of some of the designs on Express. I feel like they have, again, a different type of look than some Canva designs. So if you ever are running out of designs on Canva, which I don't think is very likely, you can try Adobe Express and see if they have something that you like. So another great resource if you're looking for even more types of fonts and designs and inspiration. Adobe Express is also something that I recommend you try out if you don't want to just use Canva. This is an app that I don't think a lot of people know about, which is XStyles, which is actually, it was in beta for a long time, but it's now just an app that you can get. I'll link it in the description box below. It's actually an app made by Apple, and it's kind of idealized for developers for Apple because you have access to their entire icon library. So here you can see all of these icons you can use, and you can go ahead and copy the symbol, copy the name, copy the image, and you can use it yourself. If you're using Adobe Illustrator, you can also use the vectorized version of these icons and change the color, change the width, all that kind of stuff. But I am someone who personally loves the style of Apple's icons. It's very minimal, clean lines, all that kind of stuff. So I think this is really helpful if you are someone who makes maybe a lot of tech videos, or you just want some cool icons. Definitely get this app, XStyles. It's amazing, and it's just one of my favorite little gems that I know not a lot of people know about. So try it out, let me know what you think. But yeah, XStyles really is one of the best apps. Okay, those are all the apps I'm going to cover. I could go into a lot more apps, but those are kind of the main ones that I kind of wanted to mention and show you guys. I absolutely love these apps. I highly recommend you try all of them out and see if you like any of them. All the productivity apps that I mentioned are free, which is really nice. And then for the creativity apps, a lot of them have subscriptions or have a free version that you can get a subscription for. But I do think it's worth it if you are a creative looking for some good apps. I think those are some good apps that I recommend to you guys. So yeah, those were all the apps that I wanted to mention. I hope this video helped you guys out, gave you some app ideas maybe. Let me know in the comments down below if there are any other apps that I missed or apps that you highly recommend. Definitely those in the comments down below. Just thank you for watching. Thank you for being here. I do appreciate you guys, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.